somewhere along the way, slowing down began to feel wrong. The moment we pause, guilt creeps in. The world has trained us to believe that constant motion equals progress, that noise equals meaning, and that stillness is a sign of falling behind. We move fast, not because life demands it, but because culture conditioned us to fear the quiet. Yet in that quiet, if we ever allow ourselves to enter it, there's a strange sensation, a whisper that something about our way of living is deeply out of balance. Effortless living isn't a modern invention. It's an ancient art practiced long before our calendars overflowed and our minds became crowded. Wu Wei, Amor Fati, and slow living all point toward the same forgotten truth. What if life becomes easier the moment you stop forcing it? Wu Wei, a central idea in Daoist philosophy, is often misunderstood as doing nothing. In truth, it means acting without force, moving in harmony with life instead of pushing against it. It's the opposite of laziness. Laziness avoids action. Wu Wei chooses the right action at the right moment. Think of water flowing around a rock. It doesn't fight, it adapts. Yet over time, its softness shapes mountains. Life works the same way. The more we push, the more it pushes back. But when we align with its natural rhythm, things unfold with surprising ease. Wu Wei teaches that harmony creates progress, while pressure creates resistance. When we try to force outcomes, tension builds. The harder we push, the more tightly our mind grips the problem, leaving little room for clarity or creativity. Wu Wei offers a different approach, stepping back just enough to let solutions reveal themselves naturally. It's like trying to untangle a knot. Pulling harder only tightens it, but loosening your grip gives the knot space to unwind. Conversations soften when you stop trying to win them. Work flows better when you stop obsessing over perfection. Even decisions become clearer when you stop demanding immediate answers. The early shift is subtle but powerful. The less you push, the more life begins to organize itself around you. Amor Fati, the Stoic practice of loving one's fate, invites us to meet reality without resistance. Instead of fighting circumstances we cannot change, we learn to embrace them as part of our path. This shift lowers emotional friction instantly. Why is this happening to me? Traps us in frustration, but how can this serve me? Opens the door to growth. Acceptance doesn't mean approval. It means refusing to let life's unpredictability break your inner peace. When you stop arguing with what already is, you reclaim the freedom to choose your response. Amor Fati turns every moment, even the difficult ones, into raw material for inner strength. When we fight what life places in front of us, we burn energy without gaining anything in return. Resistance exhausts us, acceptance redirects us. Amor Fati teaches that obstacles aren't interruptions to our path. They are the path. The moment you reinterpret a setback as material for growth, its emotional weight shifts. A failure becomes feedback. A delay becomes preparation. A loss becomes perspective. Instead of seeing fate as an adversary, you begin to recognize it as a partner shaping your evolution. Challenges stop feeling like walls and start feeling like invitations. Through this lens, every difficulty becomes a quiet push toward transformation. Slow living isn't about moving through life at a crawl. It's about moving with intention. It's choosing presence over hurry, clarity over chaos. In a culture obsessed with speed, slowing down becomes an act of mastery. When you step out of autopilot, you start noticing what actually matters and what never did. Meals taste richer. Conversations feel deeper. Work becomes sharper. You stop scattering your attention across 100 urgent things and begin directing it toward the things that truly deserve it. Slow living isn't escape, it's precision. It's the decision to experience life fully rather than rush blindly through it. Constant urgency convinces us that moving faster means living better. But the truth is the opposite. When every day becomes a race, awareness disappears. You stop tasting your food, noticing your surroundings, or even feeling your own emotions. Speed creates anxiety loops. The faster you go, the more behind you feel. Hours blur into days, days blur into months, and suddenly you can't remember the last time you truly lived a moment instead of rushing through it. It's the quiet tragedy of a life spent in motion, but not in presence. This is the turning point, realizing that meaning doesn't come from acceleration, but from consciously choosing where your attention rests. Humans cling to control because uncertainty feels threatening. We grip tightly to plans, timelines, and expectations, believing that force can protect us from disappointment. But control often creates the very tension we're trying to avoid. Letting go is not giving up. It's opening space for clarity to emerge. When you loosen your grip, your mind relaxes, your perspective widens, and solutions you couldn't see before suddenly become obvious. Tightness blocks movement. Openness invites it. Surrender doesn't make life passive. It makes your actions cleaner, calmer, and more aligned. Letting go creates an inner spaciousness where effort becomes fluid and living becomes lighter. Effortless living isn't a breakthrough moment. It's a rhythm built through small, intentional choices. Wu Wei teaches you to stop forcing what doesn't flow. Amor Fati teaches you to embrace what life brings. Slow living teaches you to move with presence rather than haste. Together, they reshape your mindset, not just your moments. You begin choosing calm responses over reactive ones, acceptance over resistance, alignment over pressure. Even simple acts, pausing before speaking, breathing before deciding, noticing before rushing, start to shift the texture of your days. Effortless living isn't mystical or reserved for monks and philosophers. It's a practice anyone can build, one gentle choice at a time. There comes a moment, after enough gentle practice, when life no longer feels like something you must wrestle into submission. The weight you've been carrying quietly loosens. Instead of resisting every difficulty, you begin to meet each one with a steadiness that surprises even you. Stillness becomes strength, not stagnation. Clarity becomes natural, not forced. Direction feels like something you sense, not something you chase. Life stops pushing against you and begins moving through you, the way wind moves through open trees, or water moves through a riverbed shaped perfectly for its flow. This is the transformation these philosophies point toward. You are no longer thrown off course by every change of weather. You become the calm center of your own world, grounded enough to navigate chaos without absorbing it, and wise enough to act without forcing anything. In this state, life finally feels aligned. As the world grows louder and faster, choosing a gentler way of living becomes an act of quiet rebellion. These ideas, Wu Wei, Amor Fati, and slow living, aren't just philosophies. They are invitations to rethink the pace at which you move, the pressure you carry, and the relationship you have with your own life. Maybe you've been forcing outcomes that never needed force. Maybe you've been resisting moments that were meant to shape you. Maybe you've been rushing through days that were asking you to slow down and actually feel them. So take a moment now, before you return to the noise, to reflect on your own life. Which of these philosophies speaks to you the most? Where could flow replace force, acceptance replace friction, presence replace speed? Share your thoughts below. Your reflections may help someone else find their own path toward ease. And if these ideas help you move through the world with more clarity, consider subscribing for more content that guides you toward a calmer, wiser way of living. Remember, effortless living isn't escaping life. It's entering it fully, without fear, without force, and without losing yourself in the noise.